Yeah, we all need to be concerned, and you all need to be concerned as younger Americans. It is very easy to have a good job and end up in my predicament at my age, which is 59, where you don't have any savings to retire, and it's a struggle to pay bills, and considering that a bag of chips is as much as an hour minimum wage pay is pretty messed up. But anyway, we all have to, think about solutions, and solutions aren't billionaires running our government, for sure.
We look back at the baby boom generation, it's, oh my goodness, they can't retire. This is the first time in the history of the United States that there are 4 generations in the workforce at one time, because the baby boom generation can't afford to leave, which means that my kids are really having a hard time breaking in and making any kind of money, because the baby boom generation can't retire. They can't afford to. They have to work till they die. They retired with a median amount of money of only $289,000. So for 40 years, every paycheck, they were putting money in there, and they retired with only $289,000. They put all their eggs in one basket, in the 401k and the like basket. Once they went to draw money out of the basket, it wasn't full. When they retired, it hardly had any resources for them to do anything with. That's a predicament that we're in the United States, and on the cusp of a major market collapse.
Yeah, I'm seeing this as well. Many people are not retiring because they can't afford to. And that is so unfortunate, because you guys did so many years. You put in the time, you did the work, and you still have to continue working even after you get to the retirement age, which is so unfortunate.
Did you guys see that video of that Florida couple? The husband is 77 and the wife is 66, and they were forced out of retirement simply because they ran out of money. So now he's working as a 77-year-old electrician, and she's working as a 66-year-old legal administrator, and they're both earning about $14 an hour or something like that in these current roles. But, it got me to thinking. I was looking at the comments on that video, and it ranged anywhere from, oh, they didn't save and they didn't prepare, to all the way to the large corporations put Americans in this situation. And to that I say it's a little bit of both, right? Because pensions are now a thing of the past. So it's on us to figure out our retirement planning, and it has to start so early on. And one thing the man said in that video or that documentary is that nobody told them or taught them or guided them into saving and planning for retirement. But one thing I think we need to realize is that retirement is not necessarily an age. Like for me, I had an age in my head, right? At 55, I'm out of here. I'm going to retire. And then when I got to 55 and I looked at the numbers, it didn't make sense. So I had to work another 3 years. I've actually seen a multitude of people that retired and had a whole ass retirement party and had to come back because they miscalculated. It happens. Plan for the worst and hope for the best, because not even your kids may come and save you, y'all. There were people in the comments that were saying, well, what about their kids? Why aren't they helping them? That may or may not happen. So you need to plan for yourselves, bottom line. All right, love y'all, bye.
I had a conversation with my dad, and I asked him when my grandpa retired. My grandpa retired at 55. I said, wow, you're 10 years older and you can't afford to retire. And then they just want to increase the retirement age, which I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong here, would then push back the age of Social Security and push back the age so we can start utilizing 401ks and IRAs. I just want to reiterate this. So my grandpa retired at 55 years old and supported himself for 30 years. 30 years before he died.
Hello, all you senior citizens and retired folks out there. Okay, I retired too early. At least financially, I retired too early. mentally, I was ready to retire. I was counting the days down. Everybody does that. We all did that. We all get around the coffee machine and count the days down to retirement and dream about our dreams of retirement. Well, I thought I had enough money. My wife and I had a couple different accounts and a couple different investments and that kind of thing. But what had happened was it was enough to retire on, living frugally, which is fine with me. I was ready to crank back everything and stop the going out and stop all the splurging and maybe the nicer vacations, take day trips, that kind of stuff. I didn't mind that so much. But the cost of living at the time that I retired started getting outrageous. Just started. So I thought, well, it's just going to be a little blip, because it kind of goes up and down, in the past, 30, 40 years, things go up, things go down relatively anyway. But they kept going down. They kept going down. They kept going down. We started to get scared. We projected that we only had about 6 years of money left. And I was worried about losing the house. We built a home 33 years ago, and it's perfect. We're on 12 acres of oak. I cut wood. I burn wood. I love doing that. I love heating the house with wood. And it's turned more and more into a supplement where the backup is a gas furnace. But we love this. We love the lifestyle out here in the woods, the privacy, all that. And we did not. It wouldn't be like moving out of a large house into a small house. It'd be like moving out of your dream house into a location that you don't want to be in, because it's hard to find a small, tiny house on some acreage that's not real expensive. Anyway, we went through all that. We looked at that. Our alternative was to go back to work, which really, really hurt. Oh my God. We were retired. We were doing our dream job. Our dream job was we had a photography studio, and we had that going like for 13 years before I retired, but it was kind of a hobby income, type thing. So after retirement, we tried to push that into a full-time. You can't push disposable money type income streams. It's hard to do that. People that pay money for photography, it's pretty much disposable money. When things are tight, people don't spend money on photography unless they have more money than others. And so that's the situation we were in when the economy started going down. Photography started drying up. Of course, digital took over. Everybody was a photographer, everybody could do that on their phone. And why would I pay for that? Well, we heard everything. Anyway, long story short, we had to go back to work. Part-time for a while, I did. And it got really old. I was doing the same work that I did before. And I'm just wondering what you guys are doing and what you did. I mean, I got it all straightened out. It took me a while to straighten it out, but we're good right now. And that's another story. But I'm wondering what you guys are doing. What have you done? Do you have enough money for retirement? Please comment and follow here, because this ends up good. I'm on a journey here on this account where I want to share with you what I did to help save my house. So I just want to know what everyone has done and what they're doing. And if there's any younger people in the past, like 50, 40 years old, even early 60s, really, what are you doing to save for retirement? What have you done? I know I totally screwed up because I should have had 10 times what I had, but I didn't know until I got there. And all my life, I was told one thing, two things, three things, even from different financial people. And guess what? They don't know everything.
I was reading a news article yesterday, and in the news article, it said that the average 65-year-old in 2024 has to have at least $1.46 million in retirement savings in their IRA or their 401k in order to live comfortably. So by 2050, the average American 65 years of age or older, or whatever the retirement age at that time, more than likely to be 70, will have to have an average of 3.36 million in their retirement savings in order to live comfortably. So I say that to say that, like, don't stress yourself out. Whatever you're doing today, keep doing it. Don't let people pressure you about not climbing the corporate ladder, not opening that business. Like, live for today and just make the best of it. Because at the end of the day, if you're not a millionaire by the age of 65, then you're probably going to be struggling. And I talk to these people every day. I talk to people about transitioning their employer-based accounts to retirement individual accounts. And they constantly tell me how they do not have enough money to keep these accounts going. They do not have enough money to keep these bills going, to keep the same benefits that they had when they were working, because after they retire, they're only given a fixed income unless they're making more money than that. And a lot of people retiring now do not have $1.46 million in their retirement savings. So live for today.
53% of boomers, over 53% of boomers cannot afford to retire. And that's including those who are going to turn 65 between 2024 and 2030. And more of them are women. And that's partially because many women gave up a career to stay home and raise children. Myself, I'm one of them. I'm 74 years old, still working full time. I have not had high-paying jobs. I've been in the hospitality business and loved it, but you don't get paid a whole lot. And my Social Security is not going to cut it, okay? So that's why I'm still working full-time at 74 years old. And I realized in the last, 6 months, my job is a physical one. I'm on my feet. I thought, how long can I keep doing this? I mean, my body is telling me that it's not going to hold out much longer. Plus, I don't want to. I don't want to keep working. I have grandchildren that I don't see as much as I would like. I'm from northern Wisconsin. I'm in Minneapolis now. My sister and I, we like to travel up there and visit the family that's up there. And I have to ask for a weekend off from work to do that. So I started looking around for a side hustle, which is what many seniors are doing. I did not want to be standing in Walmart greeting customers. I did not want to be working at Arby's or, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But honestly, been there, done that.